If I want to impress the colleges, I should only talk about all of my accomplishments, right?
Let's say you're meeting a friend and your friend's like, hey, I want to be your friend. So my SAT is like a 1600. I got only straight A's. I have made $3 million in my new company. Let's be friends.
Hi everyone, I'm Yumi.
I'm Lisa.
This is Chloe. So today we're going to talk about how we can make a very strong essay out of weaknesses.
So a lot of students feel the need to hide their weaknesses, which I think definitely has merit. If you have like 5 Ds, I wouldn't really put that on your resume. But I think there's also some merit in using your weaknesses to show how you've grown, your depth of thought, and just overall your maturity.
And I think it just really makes your essay a lot more personal and shows that you are a human, because as human beings, we all have weaknesses and gaps. No one is perfect.
Unless you're Chloe, then you're perfect.
Of course. So people might wonder, like, then, okay, makes a strong essay, but who should actually write the weaknesses and into a strength? So I suggest, or I recommend students, if you look too accomplished or too successful, you might want to write how you have these weaknesses, but how you use this as strengths.
Yeah, so if you already sound perfect with the numbers, like your SAT scores are great, your AP scores are great, everything looks great. It's also great to show a little bit of your human side. Like, that's not going to deter from your accomplishments. On the flip side, if you have a lot of gaps in your application, this is not really the approach for you.
So similar with who needs to, or who will be great in writing these types of essays, by writing this type of essay, you can show that you have improved and you are more than just your accomplishments.
Yeah, so if you're already good at everything and if you already know how to do everything, there's no real purpose of you going to college. And colleges will catch up on that. So by kind of saying, oh, I improved in these areas, you are kind of acknowledging that you were that good at it to start with, but you've improved. And that shows more character than just being like naturally good at certain things.
And colleges really want to see resilience, dedication, critical thinking, all of that. If you're just showing, I've done these great things and I've gotten these awards, it's really hard to show that personality, that character that they're looking for. So it would be great to show that most improved or where I improved sections on your essay.
So I wanted to like illustrate this with like an example, and I think I mentioned in like a previous video, our brains remember bad things better than good things. So instead of remembering somebody as like, oh, smart or intelligent or pretty, if I say like, oh, this person's really slow, that's more likely to stick with you. But it doesn't necessarily have to have a negative connotation. So I had a student before, and she was a little slow, not in like the way she thought of or anything, but more in the way she did things. So let's say she was packing things up at the end of class, she would be like a little slow. If she was leaving a classroom, she was a little slow, she was always a little bit late, and she would always be the last one to leave a class. So in traditional ways, that's not like the most positive way to describe a person. But in her case, I thought it was interesting because without fail, she was the last one to leave her class for like 10 years. So whenever somebody heard her name, everyone would kind of think like, oh, that's blah blah, because she's always slow. And it became a point where people would kind of laugh about it, but in like a joking way and not in a way that was like picking on her. So we decided to figure out, okay, why are you slow? And she says she likes to daydream. She doesn't want to just go from point A to point B as fast as she can. So she doesn't want to sprint after swimming class all the way up to, let's say, like math. She, like, while she's drying her hair after swimming, she likes to think about like, oh, how did a hairdryer come to be? Or like, oh, like if I dry it this way, is it gonna go faster than if I hold it upside down? So she had all these things that were going into her head. So her thoughts were actually racing faster than anybody else's, but it just kind of slowed her down a little bit. And she says she actually enjoyed thinking and she enjoyed all those times. So we decided to take that to the next level and we wrote an essay about how slow she is. And of course we use interesting metaphors like, you know, the Zootopia sloths from the DMV that made everybody watch the film. Like, so we figured, if everybody wanted to watch Zootopia from that one clip alone, they must want to read this essay if we include this, you know, metaphor.
Yeah.
So we were able to kind of show what kind of person she is through this adjective that is not necessarily super positive, but it was still interesting.
Yeah, and especially in this fast-paced world, I think that kind of stands out as a very unique character. The thing about these essays is that you don't, number one, want to leave with just the weakness that I'm slow and you're done, but you also want to make it into a strength, but that strength can't be, I'm great at this. It has to be some kind of learning or an aha moment.
Tony the Tiger. I'm great.
Great! So what are some examples that you've seen that was like a great aha moment kind of?
So I think introspection in general is a key part of your personal statement, and that's kind of the so what factor or the aha moment. So what did you learn? Like, what did this teach you about yourself? In the case of my student, it taught her that she actually thinks a lot. She didn't realize that, but she thinks a lot more about individual things, which makes her more likely to make, new discoveries, innovations, curious questions, that kind of thing. So you learn a lot more about yourself in the process of figuring out what your adjective is, what your weaknesses are. But I do think that weaknesses in general teaches you more about yourself than your strengths.
And this doesn't really work well with supplemental essays. So if you're gonna write about these weaknesses and turn it into a strength, you wanna do it in a personal statement because supplements are around 250, 300 words. The longer ones never really have space for you to talk about weaknesses. So in order to make this into a really great story, you need enough space, which is the personal statement.
I'd say some of the supplemental essays give you a longer word count, but they also have like 4 questions.
Yeah, that's why. That's why you just don't have enough space to write it. Although they give you that, there's a lot of questions.
So another point we wanted to make is that it's fine to talk about your weakness for maybe one of the essays, but if every single one of your essays is, I sucked at this, but now I'm better, that is not what we're saying.
There's a lot of weaknesses, guys. Like, you do want to talk about your great strengths and accomplishments as well, okay?
Yeah. Like, believe in yourself. Don't say you suck at everything. Like, we're sure you're great at a lot of things, but there's like one weakness that makes you human. I'm gonna put a disclaimer right here that says, do not do this for every single one of your stories.
Yes. So we hope that this video was helpful and you guys can write stronger essays using your weaknesses to show that human side of you, that personal side, that you're vulnerable, but you can be a great person in their community.
And it sets you apart from the thousands of I'm great at everything essays that they're more used to seeing as well.
Make your essay genuine. So if this video was helpful, please like our video and subscribe to our channel. And we'll meet you in our next one. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. Oh, Chloe wants to say hi, too. So cute. 여기서 할 수 있긴 못할 것 같은데 잠깐만 내려와 주실까요, 고객님?
타이밍 보소.